If you want to make your Quest 3 or your Quest 3S more comfortable, then upgrading the facial interface on them is pretty much a no-brainer. Now, Oblik Design makes some of the best facial interfaces out there, and I have reviewed their facial interfaces before, but they have now upgraded them and released a version for the Quest 3S, and they've just announced some really big news in this space that I definitely recommend you stick around for. So let's check them both out. Now, Oblik have sent me both of these for review purposes, but they're not paying for or sponsoring this video, so you are as always going to get my honest opinion. So unlike normal facial interfaces where you just jump on Amazon and buy something random and it turns up at your door and it doesn't fit your face quite properly and you go, why did I bother in the first place? Well, the Oblik ones are custom made to exactly fit the contours of your face, because they take a 3D scan of your face and then create a mold that exactly matches your face. So how does it do that? Well, here's old me, or actually that's younger me, to explain how this works. So it sounds awesome and you want one, but how do you get one? Well, there's 4 quick and easy steps you need to follow. First, download the Oblik app onto your phone, open it up and create an Oblik account. Second, from the main menu, go into the face scans menu option and select new face scan. Once you've added yourself as a new person, you can then go into the face scan itself. Think of it like taking a passport photo, so make sure that you are evenly lit, not wearing glasses, and there's no hair covering your forehead. You will then need to move your face closer to the phone until the vertical bar indicator is over the green section, and then move your head from side to side and up and down so that the floating dot aligns with each circle until they all disappear. That is your face scan done. Third, you need to create an order using this face scan. So from the main menu, select virtual prototypes and request a new prototype. Select the face scan you just created and select the VR headset you want the order for, as Oblik do facial interfaces for not only the Quest 3 but also the Quest 2 and Valve Index. You also need to answer some questions that tell Oblik more about you and how you use your headset, including which facial interface you currently use, how you use it, and what issues you currently have, such as whether you've got pressure on your face whilst playing, have poor field of view, or get hot whilst playing. Once you've answered all those questions, you can then request your prototype. Oblik will then take your face scan and the answers to your questions and use all that information to create a virtual prototype of your perfect facial interface. This process takes about 30 to 45 minutes, and you will get a notification via email and also via the Oblik app when it's ready. So the last step once you get that notification is to simply log back into the app, have a look at the virtual prototype that they just created, and if you're happy with it, just add to cart and complete the order. Job done. So thanks to younger me for explaining how that works, because really the process hasn't changed since I originally reviewed the Oblik facial interfaces. You can choose from a range of different colors. I've got on the Quest 3 one that I've got here, I've got the bog standard sort of black and gray, but on the Quest 3S I've got this green and white at the moment, which I think looks pretty sick. Range of colors, just pick whichever one you want. So the Quest 3 one, what they've added here now is you've got venting across the top, and then you've got vents underneath here as well. So that all helps with cooling, and that's really one of the most important things, because if you can't get ventilation into your eyes or into your face, then quite often your lenses fog up, which sucks. And also the silicone face pad that's here, unlike a lot of other facial interfaces that are using foam and like faux leather, this uses silicone. Advantage of silicone is it's a lot more hygienic, it's a lot easier to keep clean, it's really comfortable on your face, plus it's quite sticky. Not sticky in an ooh kind of way, but sticky in a, it's going to actually just sit on your face without moving around and rubbing it. So that is really good. They have actually made the face pad, the silicone face pad on here, thicker. The original version when it came out had a 6mm pad, and they've now increased that to an 8mm pad that's a little bit softer than the original one. You'll also see the custom nose piece here, so there's no flap or no rubber flap like you get with a lot of other facial interfaces. It's just this plastic mold here. Because it's got that custom scan of your face, it knows exactly the size of the nose guard that needs to be around your face to minimize the amount of light that's getting into your face. It doesn't need that generic flap. So from a fit perspective, I mean, unsurprisingly, this fits really well on your face because it's been custom scanned to exactly fit your face. The silicone that's on here is nicely sit on my face, but without putting a lot of, there's no pressure points that I can feel on my face. There's absolutely no light that I can see coming in from the top or coming in from underneath. There is a little bit of light I can see coming in through around where my nose is here, but it's pretty minimal, and I've certainly seen a lot of other facial interfaces that have been far worse. So overall, that's a pretty good job. It's a really good design. I liked the original design, and this one really is no different. It's a great facial interface. You do pay for it though, which we'll get to in a little bit because there's some changes there as well. So let me put that down, and we're going to shift over to the Quest 3S one. Now this is the green and the white, which I really like. It just makes a change from black and grey, which is what you see every other facial interface being. So it's the same 8mm silicone face pad that I've got here. So the fit is the same as well. I mean, the silicone face pad nicely fits on my face, no pressure points. I'm not seeing any light in through the top, and I'm not seeing anything in through the bottom, and just a little bit of light leakage in around my nose as well. But again, no facial interface I think is perfect in that regards, and you're not going to notice it once you're playing. Vent wise, you've got vents across the bottom here, and then you've also got vents across the top here. Now this is one of the one of the most frequent questions I always get, is whether certain facial interfaces work with things like Halo head straps. So this is the Bobo VR S3 Pro that I've got here, and as you can see, it perfectly works fine with Halo style head straps. There is one thing that I noticed with the Quest 3S facial interface that I didn't notice with the Quest 3 one, and that is that these vents over the top, whilst they're really good at not letting light in when you're just in an ambiently lit room, like a room in daylight, if you turn the ceiling lights on and you happen to stand directly underneath a light, then I do then notice some light coming in through the top. So it is just something to be careful of. I have reached out to Oblik and asked them about it, and they've said that they have had it for some people, but also not others. So it depends on your face shape, I think, as to whether it's an issue, but you could also just not stand under a light and then you'd be fine. One of the things that I do really like is how low profile it is. You can see how much more low profile and thinner the Quest 3S facial interface is over the Quest 3 one. There you go. Now, getting into the big news, because one of the biggest issues with the Oblik facial interface was originally it was only available in the States. Like, that was it. If you didn't live in the States, you couldn't get one. And the price was also quite expensive. That's now changed. So Oblik now ship to 60 different countries. So people outside of the States can finally get these facial interfaces without having to go through some like post forwarding service, which is awesome. The prices here change as well. So originally, or at the moment, these are $89 each, which for a facial interface is actually pretty expensive, but it is custom made for your face. So the original price was $89. Now, that still stays the same for the Quest 3 version. The Quest 3S version, however, sees a drop down to $69, and the Quest 2 version of this actually drops down to $49. So if you've got an older headset or a less powerful headset like the Quest 3S or the Quest 2, their facial interfaces are now cheaper and shipping to 60 countries. Also, because Oblik is now 2 years old, they are doing a global giveaway where they are giving away 30 facial interfaces, and they're running the competition from the 5th of September until September the 26th. So if you don't want to pay for these and you just want to win one, then go and enter their giveaway competition, and I will put links to that in the description down below. So as good as all that news is, there is one caveat, because as I said, both of these, or to order any facial interface off Oblik, you do need a mobile app. And at the moment, that mobile app is only available on iOS devices because it needs to use the face scan technology inside the iPhones in order to create an accurate scan of your face. If you don't have an iPhone, I would say just go nick your mates and borrow theirs for 5 minutes and then go and give it back to them. So there you go. Those are now 2 new custom fitting bespoke facial interfaces designed perfectly for you by Oblik, available to buy now in 60 different countries. Purchase links to these are in the description down below if you want to go and check them out for yourself. If you do want to check out maybe some cheaper options, then be sure to check on the link up here. Thanks for watching. If you have enjoyed the video, please don't forget to like and share it. Consider subscribing if you're not. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.